Biochar is a material that is made from plant and stabilize the carbon that the plant took up from the atmosphere to become a product that could become the key of sustainable future.
Biochar is plant and or animal bone-based carboniferous material which is used in open ecological soil environments. Under any circumstances, biochar is a qualified, certified and laboratory analyzed and permitted product which is implemented for environmental and soil amendment purposes.
So the whole concept is, and also that's why we call it biochar, is that it's an organic, non-contaminated substance that's good to use for the environment.
It's not like I produce a new product that is biochar, but I produce a new economy, a new system of living together. I will tell you this big story. I think you heard about this Aussie man. It was a man that lived into the Alps 5,000 years ago. And actually, by analyzing his skin, they discovered he had some tattoos. And strange, because, I mean, he was living in a very harsh environment, and tattoos, of course, are difficult to make. And at that time, we didn't have all this technology. And so by analyzing what he had under his skin, in order to color the skin, what did they find? They found that he had some charcoal. And he didn't tattoo his skin in order to have some ornamental or some kind of aesthetic impact, but he had tattoos in the areas where he had the more wounds. And so charcoal at that time was used as a medicine, as something in order to heal all the possible infections.
In fact, biochar is one of the oldest basic material in the human civilization. So this exists for more than 10,000 years, and one could say that it's the base of the development, the industrial development of civilization, because only with charcoal it's possible to make iron. Because you need the heat to get the iron out of the minerals.
During the past 30 years, this issue has been developing significantly towards industrialization and legislation. And today we can say different types of biochars having a very clear technical and legal application objectives and orientations. There are clear terms and definitions. What is biochar quality, how it should look like, how it should be applied, and from legal point of view, our group is working on to interlink biochar case into fertilizer regulation revision program, which is one of the largest law harmonization of the Commission past 20 years for agricultural products and systems.
And the new technology is that you have kind of tube, and you put small biomass into this tube, and then you have a screw that transports the biomass up to here. And this tube is heated by a second kind of tube with hot gases. They come in here with something like 700 degrees. So from here you have 20 degrees, it goes up to here, you have 500. It heats up this small biomass up to 500 degrees. It takes about 20 minutes. And then it's carbonized. And this carbon goes out here, so this is biochar. But about half of it is not biochar but gas. So it gets out here a lot of wood gas, and that you burn. So when you burn it here, you have very clean emissions that just goes out here. It's more or less as water vapor and CO2. And the warmth you see here, get back here. So you have a closed loop. You put biomass in that carbonizes slowly, and the gas that is produced produces the heat that comes back and heats the new biomass. So you can do that for days and for days, and always producing new biomass, and you have an equal quality of biochar.
There are several biomass that can be used for biochar. Of course, we can think about the most valuable ones that are wood, fresh wood, or even residues of the food industries. But also, we can think about other kinds of biomasses that are coming from different kind of industries. We have had an example today while hearing all these experts of using what is left by the paper industry, it's just cellulose, or what is left by the cotton industries, or by what is left by the agro industries, like all different skins, all different residues when you produce food. And also there is another possibility, that is the residues from the animal industries. So I'm talking about manure generally, but also animal bones or animal skins or other kind of residues that are normally not used in other processes.
So what biochar helps us is to reduce wastes, to reuse wastes, and finally to recycle and to keep all in the natural cycle. This is the main added value, and on this chain and on this idea one can produce different products with different added value chains.
The harmonization of water supply and absorption of and retention of plant nutrients in soil is very much important, which is resulting, of course, higher yield and improved product quality on the food crop. The fertilization effect of the bone-based biochar is very clear. This is a full value fertilizer. This is very important in that case because bone-based biochar is substitute for mineral rock phosphate fertilizers, which are often have a problem of heavy metals such as cadmium and uranium. Biochar and harbor products having a long list of different applications. In our case, in our mandate from the Commission, through their effort, their project, is to investigate biochar use in agriculture for safe food production and recycle of waste and byproduct materials into soil additives and organic fertilizers. The soil application is certainly one of the most important elements. However, biochar is used for adsorbents, used for additive, for manure treatment, for animal-free ingredients, and even cosmetics and many different other applications are viable and known.
But one of the major industrial use of the next 10 years will probably be on the building industry, producing bricks with biochar lime, or biochar clay, or biochar cement bricks, plastering of buildings, and this is one of the best insulation material. It improves also the climate in the room and has a balancing effect on the humidity in the room. So it is really improving the quality of living in a room, or also for storing like food.
The idea that is behind developing a biochar cluster, instead of developing several different small-scale carbon cycling industries, all different, exploiting the real biodiversity that we do have in Europe. So instead of building, a big, huge or standardized plant that produces biochar, same quality, same thing with same biomass all over Europe, we want to try to understand if it is possible to develop a local cluster, a local carbon cycling that is using the biomass that is most available there, that is using the information and the knowledge of farmers that are in that place.
Safety comes number one, because anyone who is using biochar must be really, really aware of that application of biochar into soil is an irrevocable process. Once the biochar is in the soil, then that's it, then it's there. So it must be rather sure what quality of biochar put into the soil, what conditions, and whether this biochar fits to that type of soil, that region, and providing good benefit or maybe not.
The other problems are linked with the technology itself. In order to develop a technology or a value chain that is fit for that particular local region, you need to study it. You need a legislation that is adapted to the local situation. So it's not a legislation that fits all over Europe. You need to discuss with people and explain to people what you are really doing. So I will see that there are some technological problems that now are on the shoulders of the entrepreneurs.
There exist clearly defined thresholds and limits for different substances that are used in agriculture, like for compost or for fertilizer. And these thresholds will be the same for biochar. Biochar is a different substrate which absorbs many different compounds, and it's difficult to extract these compounds. So analytical methods for biochar are not the same as for soil, but limits will be the same. So we get sometimes into a kind of conflict that in fact it's a different product than a fertilizer, or a different product than compost, or a different product than soil, and needs different methods and would need different thresholds.